Good morning. I've got a strange resolution for this video. I've still got no phone, I've still got no tooth, but that shouldn't really stop me from making videos that I think matter. Now, look at this one. I've got two that I want to talk to you about today. I want to go through this one, which is about speed cameras, and then I want to talk about this one, which is Britain now has more parking wardens than soldiers. I've got quite a lot to say about that. As you know, my phone has broken. I'm not at home at the moment, and because my phone is broken, last night I actually reread Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I'd studied that when I was at college years ago, but going back to it, I think people overlook Brave New World and talk about 1984, but I think the two need to be read together. I'll probably, and tell me if you think this is a good idea or not, there's a few passages late in the book that I think you'd probably appreciate listening to if you haven't read the book before, and I might do a bit of a reading of it on my channel later on today, because I just think with the way the world is at the moment, there's so many things that you can draw parallel to, and actually it's connected to this article. Let's go in at the top then. So this is give us speed camera cash to catch more drivers, demand police. Hold the phone. What's the money for? When you get caught speeding, as we all have been, because there's cameras everywhere now, they don't want to stop you from. This is the thing. I think people think that the police, the powers that be, whatever, the machine, whatever you want to call it, Big Brother. I think it's easy to think that they want you to stop speeding. They don't want you to stop speeding. They just want to catch you. Look at the title here. Give us speed camera cash to catch more drivers, demand police. So not only is the speed camera money not going to the police, they also don't want to use it to educate the nation to drive slower, to make the nation safer, to make the roads safer, to make the roads slower. They only want to use it to catch more drivers. They've got no interest in you slowing down. They don't want you to slow down. They just want to catch you. So I didn't want to dwell too much on that one, but thank you, John, for sending that to me this morning. The one I wanted to look at is this. This is Britain now has more parking wardens than full-time soldiers as fines and charges on drivers reach 2.3 billion a year, right? Nationwide, there are estimated to be 82,000 traffic enforcement officers patrolling Britain's streets. This eclipses the number of regular soldiers in the British Army, which has shrunk in recent years, with latest figures saying there's 73,490 full-time troops. Now, this is really interesting. I don't want to dwell on it because, for obvious reasons, but how many people do you think are in hotels being paid for by the government at the moment? If 1,000 a week are coming over, it's not going to take long before there's more traffic enforcement agents and new arrivals than there are British troops. How many police have we got? Can you see where I'm going with that? Hopefully you can. The other side of this as well, if I can carry on diving into conspiracy theories, and I know if you're watching this video, you don't mind when I do. We looked at this years ago, and this might have been when I was at university, because I did a really strange university degree that was run by a really forward-thinking head lecturer who eventually got kicked out of the university for being too controversial and not towing the line. And I've got a friend who often says to me, how is it that you went to university and didn't get trapped by all of the rubbish that people get trapped by at university these days? And the answer is it's because of this chap and the course that I did. It was excellent. And one of the things we looked at back then was the fact that parking wardens, if you look on the vest of a parking warden on their high-vis vest, it now says Civil Enforcement Officer. So they now have a completely different underwritten set of rules and rights as to what they can do. And I believe there's people that have looked into this in more detail than me, but in a situation, some sort of emergency, suddenly a civil enforcement officer would have a whole lot more to do than just putting parking tickets on your windscreen. There you go, a little rabbit hole for you to dive down. Next one, despite funding cuts having recently blighted the UK's military, councils appear to be raking in huge profits from their armies of parking wardens. 961 million 2 years ago to 1.1 billion in the most recent year. In all, figures show revenues from drivers for parking permits, tickets and fines have surged 20% in 2 years as councils raise charges to cover budget shortfalls. So councils are spending all of their money on consultancy schemes for projects that never get built. And when they realise that they're going bankrupt because they've handed all their money away in brown envelopes to consultants that never intended doing any actual work, they need to go to the general public who they're supposed to be supporting and looking after and working for, and that's where they get the money from. This is why they don't want you to stop speeding. They just want to catch more of you. This is why they don't want you to stop parking badly. They just want to catch more of you. This is why they're removing free car parks. They're removing free car parks in high streets because they're quite interested in charging you £70 a time for when you nip into a shop. It's interesting, isn't it? The statistics also don't include cash raised from congestion charging, another scam, clean air zones, another scam, and fines for cars venturing into bus lanes. Now, this is a good time for me to bring up a screenshot that I took last night, if I can find it, because yesterday I got a response from a government petition that I had submitted. Here we go. Dear Geoff, sorry, we can't accept the petition you supported, abolish the ULEZ and LEZ in London and refund all the fines due to illegal signage. Why can't they do that? It's not something that UK government or Parliament is directly responsible for. That's because it is the responsibility of the Mayor of London and the London Assembly. How is it that the Mayor of London has power over and above UK government and Parliament? And that's what they're hiding behind with this ULEZ thing. Let's move on then. Let's carry on in this lovely cheery video. Early this year, London Mayor Sir Sadiq Khan. The fact that they made him a Sir, okay, look at that in this slightly conspiratorial video. Nobody can name a single thing that Sadiq Khan has done that has been for the benefit of Londoners, and yet he was knighted for that. Think about that. When you think, you know, all these people that bum the Royals and tell us the Royals are fantastic. Well, the whole system stinks from top to bottom. At no point have any of the Royals got involved and, you know, said, look, the country's going down the pan, we need to do something. Oh, well, they can't do that because, you know, they're the Royals and they shouldn't get involved in politics. Well, I'm sorry, but the country that they are royal over is going to the dogs. It's time for them to step in. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't help myself there. Anyway, Sadiq Khan was knighted for services to the Crown. And last year, London councils issued 8.3 million penalty charge notices. Councils nationwide have been upping the cost of residential parking permits for households, adding to the revenues generated by authorities. London's Bexley Council raised the cost of a 12-month permit 23% to £160. Well, Camden Council now adds an additional air quality surcharge on its permits, which can cost as much as £195 a year for diesel vehicles. Jack Cousins, head of roads policy at the AA, said parking had become a cash cow for councils and was effectively a tax on driving, which it is. Making 1.2 billion in profit from an annual income haul of 2.3 billion out of people's pockets and potential consumer spending is where we are now with so many English cities and town councils and their unrestrained costs and fines. It is literally taking money out of consumer pockets, money that could be spent in the local towns. Residents feel hostage to permit costs so high that households often rip up their front gardens and turn them into parking, which is also good for net zero. Many drivers will feel rightly they are paying more through tolls and charges to use their cars and paying more through parking charges and residence permits to leave them stationary. Why can't they just let us get on with it? That's always my question. And the answer is that they don't want us to just get on with it. They don't want us to live in a cheap and easy way. They don't want us to be able to afford to live. They just want complete control and as much of our money as possible. Drivers feeling the pinch from parking charges should take a close look at how their local authority justifies them. The money raised is supposed to be spent on improving local transport, not bail out other budgets. Again, this is what we saw at the start with the fact that speed camera money does not go to the police. Meanwhile, the British Parking Association, which represents operators, said charges and claims of excessive profits were misleading and failed to recognise how funds were managed and reinvested into the community. What a load of total bollocks. The British Parking Association. Wow, you guys are... I've got nothing to say. I don't understand why something hasn't been done about these predatory debt collectors that end up working on behalf of these parking agents, but I can't say too much about that on YouTube. However, Bristow and Sutor are based in Redditch, if anyone was interested. Income from parking often makes possible some of the most valued services council provides, such as subsidised bus fares, school transport, pothole repairs, and essential road maintenance. Total bollocks. Without this income, many of these vital services would be under threat. Total bollocks. couple of comments, and this as well leans into where I started this video talking about Brave New World, right? This comment, look at the top here. Stop parking badly and you won't be paying into their coffers. Simple, really. That sort of thinking, right, drives me crazy, and it should drive you crazy as well. But when I reread Brave New World last night, it basically says that the society, the community, needs stupid people in order to survive. If everybody is intelligent, then society collapses. We need these stupid people, unfortunately, in order for things to keep working. And that'll make more sense when I do this reading of this just one chapter from Brave New World later on this evening. LOL in Russian, thanks Paul, and then Turnpike. We most likely have more diversity officers, hate crime snoopers, and equality busybodies than soldiers too. So there you go. That is the end of the video. What a total mess the UK has become. And let me know what you think we can do about it in the comments. Let's just finish up on a high note. Oh, look at that. That is my beautiful Saab 95 2.3 turbo petrol automatic. It is actually ULEZ free. It does not have a sunroof, but it just looks lovely. And I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel and making a video when I'm back from a little break from being at home. And you'll be seeing this car on the channel in the coming days. Thank you very much for watching, and let me know if you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate screen recorded videos with voiceovers are not to everybody's taste, but I'm still feeling very self-conscious about missing a tooth. And as I said, my mobile phone has been dropped in the sea, actually, and no longer works at all, which has been quite nice. Thank you to everyone who gave me suggestions on what new phone to use. Thank you to the person who emailed me offering me a free iPhone. I will get back to you all in due course. Lots of love from Geoff.